His list of awards and accomplishment is long and storied, from President of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, to Municipal Leader of the Year, to the Order of the Palmetto, to even being named one of the Giants of Design by House Beautiful, excuse me. He has been recognized for exceptional work over and over again. A native of Charleston, a graduate of the Citadel, with a law degree from South Carolina, this South Carolinian is a rock star of leadership and governance. On behalf of the Greater Wilmington Business Journal and Cape for Future, I'm honored to present Mayor Joseph P. Riley. Please give him a rousing Wilmington welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Connie, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me back to your beautiful community, one of the great places in our country, and the fact that people are moving here is no surprise. It's you know, the Richard Florida and the rise of the creative class explained something. Usually people that write things like that explain things that we kind of knew, we just didn't really think about, and that is, of course, that we now live in a time where people are first interested in the quality of where they live and the interesting and creative and diverse and beautiful and vibrant components of that. And that's the driving force of what how they make their decisions about where they're going to work. And this beautiful American city, the lovely river and the access to the beaches and the wonderful climate and great medical complex and university. It's really, you know, it's one thing, and let me say this, I'm going to talk about city making, and I'm not an out-of-town expert by any means. I come here to learn from you, but we all usually undervalue where we live because we are used to it, and well, it's it's our hometown. It's like our comfortable den, and you don't see it, so someone from away can see it better. And what you have is an extraordinary place to live, and a city and a community on the move. And it's a pleasure to be here today, and really as a reinforcer, not to give you any new lessons or ideas, but rather just to reinforce what's going on. And this morning I'm going to talk about city making and place making, and then answer questions, because it's our opportunity. It's where we are in America now, people living in towns and cities, and our responsibility. You're here this morning, you accept the responsibility to be great place makers and to accept the duty and responsibility as citizens, as mayor, your great mayor, chairman of the county commission, Chamber of Commerce president, publisher of the Business Journal, business people, community leaders all. We all are citizens, and we have an opportunity and responsibility for creating great cities. And great cities is not a size thing. It's not an age thing. It's just a place where people have accepted the duty and responsibility to make it as beautiful and livable as it possibly can be. And when we do that, all kind of good things happen. Charleston is an old American city. It was built before the automobile and the elevator, a city of great beauty, and people had the wisdom long before I was born to preserve what was left. And we didn't have the Industrial Revolution, so a lot of our city wasn't demolished in the early 20th century to make way for new development. And people were smart enough to preserve and keep what they had and protect the memories and the physical beauty. And Charleston is not a theme park or a museum. It's a real live American city, and it's filled with all the great opportunities for success and failures and mistakes. This was a mistake. This was the historic Charleston Hotel. It is where the National Democratic Convention of 1860 met. A beautiful old building But in the 50s, the city leaders wanted to demolish it because they knew to be a great city, you had to have a drive-in motel. There wasn't a great city without a drive-in motel. Well, the challenge in city making and community building is to work very hard not to make mistakes, and quite the opposite, to reach for and achieve excellence in everything that we do, in every aspect of community life. We started working the poor sections of our city with the challenge of vacant lots. We had a lot of vacant lots, and people were moving out of these neighborhoods. They were right on the precipice of falling into the deep abyss of becoming an urban ghetto, and we wanted to put affordable housing on these vacant lots. And we wanted it to be beautiful, affordable housing. This is what houses look like in those neighborhoods. They're framed, they're addressed the sidewalk, and this is what was built when they built affordable housing in the 50s and 60s. Ugly as the dickens. You know, it was like a duty. You just had to put some in there, but it didn't matter what it looked like. And usually they'd put a cyclone fence around it to kind of make you feel that the neighborhood was unsafe and no wise person would want to live there anyway. So we were determined to build handsome, affordable housing. And we had an architectural competition and selected a young architect, and he designed that. This is long before postmodernism. It was just a common, sensical approach. Put something that looked like it belonged. It didn't cost any more than the ugly stuff, but we had found you could build handsome, affordable housing. We got a grant for new public housing. The housing authority was so excited. They said, Mayor, we know just where to put the new project. They said, we're not going to build any more projects. They said, you're crazy. You're going to be impeached. We got all these poor people. I said, no, I know about that. But this didn't work. You build these brick monoliths, ignore every accumulated lesson about city building for the last 750 years in Western civilization. You crowd a bunch of poor people into these things, and then you get mad that it doesn't work. I said, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to build new public housing scattered around the city on vacant lots. Well, they thought I was nuts, but they couldn't do anything about that. And, and so we started, looking the sites, which creates an interesting debate, to where to put public housing. I mean, the average American doesn't wake up in the morning, turn to his spouse and say, honey, wouldn't it be nice if we could get us some public housing next door? We never had that. So we had to, do some negotiating. We picked the sites, picked the architect. They came up with the plans, ugly as hell. We fired them, got some other architects, and then this is what we was designed and built. The first two from your right to left are public housing. Very poor people live there, owned by the housing authority, built with federal funds, subsidized by federal funds. But it added beauty to the neighborhood. It didn't cost any more of the ugly stuff. When Prince Charles came to Charleston after we built these, the only photo op we wanted was transplanting that little tree there that Hurricane Hugo in '89 knocked down, because he thought that this was the best architectural lesson Charleston had to share with the rest of the world. You could build beautiful, affordable housing. When we were opening these, I was at a cocktail party, the president of one of our college's homes one evening, and in a crush of people, the server came up to me with a tray of food, and she leaned over and she whispered, she said, Mayor Riley, I want to thank you. And I said, what's that for, ma'am? And she said, because Monday I'm moving into 7 Marion Street, and it's so beautiful. And I thought, maybe back then, a long time ago, the prospective tenant of public housing, with just a few words to utter the mayor, had never used the word beautiful before. And the fact of the matter is, in city building, there is never any excuse to build anything or cause anything to be built that doesn't add to the beauty of a city. There's no need to do it, and there is no reason, and it's wrong if you ever do it. Now, this building, 2 apartments, public housing, became a catalyst for the redevelopment of a neighborhood. Across the street, these were run down. Private sector then restored that. There was a vacant lot next to public housing. Market rate housing went there. Around the corner, another vacant lot. Market rate housing went there. 1 building, 2 apartments, public housing, poor people, great urban design became a catalytic agent.